Good morning. It is I, Claire the Oily Witch. So, how are you feeling today? I am still feeling, well, actually, I am feeling tired and heavy, but I'm not really. I'm kind of, yesterday I did an awful lot of exercise and more exercise than I normally do, and wouldn't necessarily recommend doing a lot of exercise on Moon Day, Monday, because that is a day, if you follow the planets and astrology like I do, where it should be quite soft and gentle. It's a water day, so it's good to go swimming and things like that, but not to, in fact, I wasn't doing that vigorous or exercise, but more vigorous than I'm used to. Anyway, by the by. And today I feel excited because there's change afoot, is there not? And there needs to be change afoot because things are developing, as they always are. And I wanted to share with you just a few of my thoughts for today and what I was thinking yesterday, because I was teaching yesterday about Mars. So I teach medical astrology. I have an Oily Witch Academy which has all my pre-recorded courses in there, and I have a live group that I'm taking through medical astrology at the moment, which is understanding how the planets affect our health. And we did Mars yesterday. Now, you want to know where your Mars is in your chart, and you simply do that by going to astro.com or another one of the astrology websites, putting in your birth time, location and date, and then you'll be able to see where your Mars is. Now, if your Mars happens to fall in the daytime or in a masculine sign, because the zodiacs are split into masculine and feminine depending on their element, then your Mars is going to be quite active, and you are going to be someone who gets, when you're ill, gets rashes, gets fevers, runs hot, basically. If your Mars is below the horizon, i.e. at night time, so the sun is below the horizon, sorry, Mars is at night time, that means, or in a feminine sign, that your Mars is going to not be as active. You're going to be much cooler in your constitution. Now, Mars rules acute illness, so when you become staggeringly ill, that's Mars that's behind that. Mars, being the kind gentleman that he is, likes to splatter through a lot of signs, so he reflexes, which means that he may be in one place, but he's also drawing in all the energy from other points, generally on the 90-degree aspect, sometimes on the 180, sometimes on the 150. But anyway, I don't want to blow your mind, especially if astrology is not something you're completely versed in. I'm going to do my astrology beginners course, but it's a complicated subject. But just to say to you that Mars is behind that, that your Mars placement will show how fiery yours or your loved one's temperaments are. So my Mars is in the worst place it possibly can be. It's in Taurus. Mars absolutely hates Taurus. Why? Because Mars wants to run ahead. It's fire, and Taurus is like, let's slow down, and Mars is like, what the hell? It literally is grounding it. But my Mars is in daytime, and I am red hair. I have a lot of fire in my chart, so that balances out my Mars energy a bit more and stops me being quite so kind of slow. In fact, having Mars and Taurus is probably a very good thing. It's probably grounding me, which is really worthwhile having. Now, a good aspected Mars is someone that is very action orientated, can get things done, is not afraid to make a difficult decision in a difficult situation, will always, finish a project, they put energy into things, they just, they keep going. A poorly dignified Mars energy is someone who likes to control others, throws their toys out the pram if they can't do that, is quite argumentative without being able to see other people's points of view, and is not very nice, because strength, Mars fighting isn't just with fists, it's with mouth, mouth as well. So they would say unkind things and, have a bit of kind of, ego issues, be all about themselves and not be great. That's poorly dignified if they've got good Mars energy. So, because everything has two sides. Now, if someone doesn't have enough Mars energy in the first place, You can see that because they've got stuck, they've got trapped, they don't want to move forward because Mars is very progressive energy. So they just get so fearful of change and moving forward, they become very stuck. So it's worthwhile understanding it from that perspective, and then using the herbs and the oils to get them moving, to help them move through what they're trying to move through. So that was the first thing. I hope you found that interesting. I'm wearing red today to reflect Mars. That has happened by accident, by the way. I don't dress my wardrobe depending on what I want to talk about. The other thing was relationships, and it came into my mind because I was considering I'm surrounded by teenagers at the moment. There's a lot of teenage relationships going on, and just spins me back into thinking about kind of, how when we're young, we're quite often attracted to the wrong people, or people that seem dangerously exciting, dangerous being the operative word because it generally lands in some form of heartache and heartbreak, and how that kind of can spur people on to make decisions that aren't in their best interest for the want of trying to keep people in their lives that they should not have in the first place or let go of. And that made me think about how we show up in relationships, and the fact that we often will try and project a vision of what we think is attractive, and that may not line up with who we actually are. And that's where the problem comes, because then you're living a relationship which isn't truthful, because you are projecting something that isn't really you and can't really be maintained like long term, or it can, but it will cost you. And the person that you've projected that onto has seen a side of you and found that attractive, but it's not authentic. So when they tell you they care about you, do they care about you, or do they care about the projection that they think is you? And so it's just much better to show up as yourself in every way and allow yourself the opportunity and the time to get to know someone and work on the friendship. Now, when you have a staggeringly sexual attraction to someone, that can be difficult because, logic goes out the window along with your knickers. But there is a price you will pay for that if you don't take time for all that fire, because Mars is also passion, for all that passion. So if you can, just take some time to think about being yourself as much as possible around the objects of your affection, because then you can continue to be yourself and everything is genuine, and you don't make decisions that aren't in your best interest because you are being yourself, so you are caretaking yourself first. All of this stuff feels really obvious, I know, but that's life, isn't it? We can know all this stuff, but are we living it? That's the difference. Are we living it? So anyway, that is today, and I wish you well, and I hope you found something interesting. Do go and visit the Oily Witch Academy, which is just simply oilywitchacademy.co.uk, and check out my wonderful range of courses, or you can book me privately get in touch and have some private sessions with me. Blessed be.